Hey there, fans of brotherly love wrestling. It is I, Vic Delicious.
Philly's own, the Mecca here.
It is the real McCoy, J.D.X. Justin D. Xavier. And
it's your man, CD, the fallen angel, Christopher Daniels.
Hello, boys and girls. This is your old friend RJ City.
Hey there, brotherly love wrestling. Bill Carr here.
Hey everyone, this is two-time guest Wheeler Yuta.
Two bozos from Philadelphia flapping their gums about pro wrestling this, pro wrestling that.
Which is not that unique in the grand scheme of things yet.
You are in for a treat because you're tuned in to Brotherly Love Wrestling.
Philadelphia, are you ready?
They said, are you ready?
This is Brotherly Love Wrestling Podcast, your first stop for everything professional wrestling. So sit back and enjoy wrestling talk at its finest with your hosts, Larry Hall and Joe Corrado.
Welcome, everybody, to Brotherly Love Wrestling, and this is Table for Four. We are your usual guests, Larry Hall and Joe Corrado, but today, two friends of the show. Obviously, if you've watched us from the beginning, you've seen these guys pop up, especially this guy here, pop up a lot. But this is producer...
Janitor.
I was waiting for that to come to Joe, but... Janitor Bill Fry, and of course our friend Scott
does
Rand.
He look like a producer, or does he look like a janitor?
I mean, it's a fair point.
Let's be
fair point.
Let's be honest.
In all honesty, I look more like the drunk in the alley behind the building. But
yeah,
you know,
I thought that's who it was.
Yeah, we just wandered in here.
We don't live in that type of area.
No, we don't. So, guys, I wanted to start off because it is the most current news.
Wonderful time of the year.
It is that. But the most current news in wrestling, as of right now today, is the Endeavor WWE UFC deal is official. The all Vince McMahon owned WWE is over, as we know it. Who all four of us, how we ever thought we would see the day that would happen.
I thought he was dying.
I was going to say, unless he passed, is what I thought everyone would think.
Right.
So this actually comes at a perfect time, and not only that, it is 6 months until WrestleMania. We are at the halfway point of the WWE year. We have 6 months behind us and 6 months ahead of us until WrestleMania.
So that's what half is.
Yes, very good. Half of 12 is 6.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Delco education.
I didn't know there'd be math.
But anyway, so I think we start out with that. What the ramifications could be for this, what your thoughts are on it, do you look at it as a positive, as negative? Scott, you want to start?
Yeah, well, I was reading a little bit about it. I wasn't even aware that the date was coming up until yesterday. And I know that now I think Endeavor will own 51%.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really curious to see how it's going to affect the day-to-day. Like, is Vince now going to suddenly reappear? Or are things going to be pretty much moving along as they were before? So I'm clueless, but I'm curious to see what happens.
And do you think it's a positive?
Yeah. I mean, I think so. How long have they been in the current state? Was it like 99 they became publicly
traded?
Yeah,
I think around 99, right? I think so. Yeah,
we were very young.
Yeah.
We
were
very young.
Yes,
there's the first age joke of the night. That didn't take long at all. Not at all.
Yes.
Bill,
back when I started watching wrestling.
So one interesting thing that I was reading about this is that there is speculation that UFC and WWE are going to basically, TKO is going to go to cities and advertise having a UFC and WWE event in the same city on the same weekend as a package deal, so that you would get probably like WWE on Saturday, and then you would get UFC on Sunday, or something along those lines. Or
I think WWE be going back to.
I was going to say
WWE go back to Sunday.
Yeah,
but
I'm so happy with the Saturday.
I know.
But so
this is not a good thing.
That was I think it was Sean Ross Sapp put that out. That the thought is that they're going to put it out there that UFC and WWE would be in the same city, the same weekend as a package deal. Now, the question is, UFC is pumping out a lot of events between fight nights and numbered cards and whatever it may be. Do we start getting WWE events
more like they used to be? Like the more
live shows, so they probably won't be televised. But you get like live shows.
Yeah,
so they'll come to the town. They'll just schedule it and coincide with each other.
Yeah, but then you have to also wonder, like, how is this going to affect pricing for people who want to go to it? Because
I think it depends on the venue. If it's
Yeah.
still a small venue, I don't think you can charge an arm and a leg. Like, look, like the Leocore Center is a decent sized venue, and those prices for those seats are still very affordable.
Yeah.
So it would be kind of like the same thing.
Yeah, but they're doing like stadium shows. Like, I mean,
Yeah, UFC is fighting Wells Fargo.
Yeah, that's fine for them. But then you have the live event for WWE in like a Leocore or something like that.
I got what you're saying.
And the event tickets aren't gonna. I mean, it's a live event. You'll probably pay, or they'll probably go to Trenton, the place that they always go to.
Theoretically, they could do live events on Fridays and do UFC Saturday.
Not gonna do
because if it's
a
just
live
a
event,
house show,
you think you're gonna go? Well, I mean, a live event going up against SmackDown, I guess, really wouldn't matter. But you're losing a roster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because usually a lot of those live shows are super shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a majority of the main people go, depending on their contract, for a live show. I mean, unless they do Friday night and Saturday.
Unless they
tour
with NXT.
Yeah, unless every now and then when it falls in the WWE calendar that there's a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's a UFC pay-per-view, but other than that, you could get SmackDown on Friday night, UFC whatever number on Saturday,
Well,
and then WWE wouldn't have to.
UFC 730.
They're not that high yet.
Well, you also have
We're
to.
close, though.
You also have to question. So, if they're looking to advertise WWE, UFC together as a package deal to a city,
WWC.
Yeah.
WWFC.
Just TKO.
Yeah.
That's why they did that, so people don't do that.
WWFC.
What about streaming?
UW.
That was my question.
Yeah,
I think that's another thing where a lot.
Are we getting a new streaming site? God,
Well,
can we just get rid of Peacock?
Before the
Please. Can we
sale,
keep Peacock?
before the sale, that was obviously the talk that everyone was wondering, like if Disney was going to pick it up or Amazon was another name,
That would
or
work. That would have worked.
but
No, fuck.
Well, UFC also has a current contract with ESPN,
yeah,
so their pay-per-views
or
are
ESPN
on
Plus.
ESPN Plus
Fucking
only.
don't want to have to pay for ESPN
So
Plus.
theoretically, they could do something with that.
Which would
They
be huge for
could.
WWE with ESPN Plus. Don't get me as a business,
Yeah.
that's giant for ESPN and WWE. So I think personally they're going to have their
Shit, I can see that.
their own.
Right?
I can see that.
You think ESPN Plus WWE?
I mean, look,
you might be right.
ESPN.
I can. And the more he said it, the more I was like, "Fuck." Man.
ESPN
This
is
is like This is the combination that it was like a static fucking like opposites, and now all of a sudden it's forming together.
But
Like
that's
real sports, WWE.
Yeah,
Bad,
that's true.
good, bad, good, and now it's all in one fucking place.
it's all
What's going on?
But it's also the same thing when you think about it. Like, they've had partnerships recently in the past. They've had ESPN commentators
They've
go
had-
to Mania.
Wait, say that one more time. Recently in the past. How are you recently and in the past?
I meant in the last few years. They've had work. They've
Recently, but also 10 years ago.
They've had people working for ESPN at WrestleMania doing
Yeah.
interviews. They've
Yes.
had.
No, I mean you see Roman Reigns on First Take now.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they do.
And
Paul,
it's-
Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
With Stephen A.
Yeah,
And it-
absolutely.
you put the biggest names out there on ESPN. I mean, that's
Yeah.
how you get.
But that's what I'm saying is you get that they're already
Does it
commingling.
legitimize wrestling anymore though, or do the people still look at it like, who the fuck's this guy?
Honestly, I think wrestling has already taken a jump forward in that just by sheer numbers alone. And WWE has recently loved to tout their numbers after every pay-per-view, how many gate records they broke in attendance.
They've always
watch.
done that.
Not like they have been over the past, 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
where Hunter's coming out and saying, we broke this gate, we broke merch, we broke, like,
Triple
that's an
H-
AEW.
Triple H wants it to be a competition. McMahon's the one that doesn't want to acknowledge it. Triple H
Would love to.
wants
yeah.
like
Yeah.
the whole. It's WCW again.
They just acknowledged AEW All In at in the Cody thing. They did a
Really?
Cody
Yes.
a Cody thing recently, and they mentioned All In and AEW, and
they don't want to
Yeah.
acknowledge it. They want to crush it.
Yeah. The Piss and Company.
Yeah.
I mean, that
Yeah,
line
but
alone.
but to McMahon's thought process, it's usually ignore it until it goes away.
Yeah, but
The
I
same
like
thing he
Triple
did
H's
with Impact.
process better.
Yeah.
Me too.
I mean, because look at
I
what
like
happened.
the guy that fucking drove the tank into WCW. I want him leading the fucking charge.
Which, by the way, hold on, I'm sorry to cut you off. Last night,
Was it an
it
anniversary?
was at the Scope where they took over Monday Nitro.
Really?
Yes, as soon as
Oh, I
it
didn't
starts
realize
and they
that.
say we're live from whatever, it was like, we're live at the Scope. And in my head, it just immediately see the tank. I was like, holy shit, they are at the same place.
Wow.
Yeah, and but it's also the same thing. Like Hunter took over creative for that brief time,
Glorious time.
and Mickey James entered the Women's Royal Rumble with the Impact Championship on her shoulder.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
So
That was pretty cool.
that would have never happened
Yeah.
if he wasn't in charge. And now you've got AEW
Mm-hmm.
that's
Well, I
know,
did
being
see.
mentioned.
Well, we've always said that if they wanted to turn up the juice, the AEW would fail
Absolutely.
to exist.
Yeah, if they really wanted to compete and wanted to go after AEW be
I
in trouble.
don't think they have the. I mean, I think they have the money behind them, but I mean, so did Ted Turner.
That's
And-
true. But the only difference being the owner of this wrestling company cares about wrestling. The owner
Yeah.
of that wrestling company could have cared less. As
Yeah.
long as they were getting all right numbers and bringing in money,
Yeah.
it's all
Well,
that
All right,
turns
the
out.
the other part.
Hold on. I'm host.
Oh, okay.
Pulling rank.
But anyway, I want this to be topic of discussion. Do you think AEW would fare better in the fight than WCW did?
Go ahead, since he cut you off, you can answer that first.
Do you think they would be able to hold them off longer or even succeed?
I think they would. They wouldn't. I don't think they would succeed.
You think
But
they would still be
they,
put out?
They would put up a good fight because one, as you mentioned, the owner cares about wrestling, but also the owner is the head booker. So
All right.
he is directly running it, and it's his money directly running that
His
company.
dad's.
Or daddy's money.
Well,
Yeah.
A little bit of
So-
both.
But so here's the follow up.
Mm-hmm.
Are they able to go 83 weeks or 84 weeks?
no,
No.
no.
I think
No?
I think
They
I
never reach the
no,
top of the
yeah,
mountain,
no.
but they're reaching for it.
I don't
I
think,
think.
that's their ultimate goal. I think their goal
who
is,
AEW.
yeah, I think it's just to be an alternative.
Yeah.
I think that is
Yeah.
a Cody line. I do not think that is again, the McMahon Hunter mindset
Right.
is complete is just like the Cody Bucks mindset.
Yeah.
And I honestly think the Bucks mindset is, and look, you can even look at the petty shit with CM Punk, which we will touch on eventually. But the petty shit with CM Punk, they love like the night after he was fired. That
They
on
love starting
Collision,
shit.
on Collision,
Oh.
they came out and was it Matt and Nick? It was I think
Yeah,
it was
they confronted the Bucks.
well,
I'm seeing they confronted a FTR.
yeah, but
Yeah.
afterwards they ran around the ring like Punk did. Exactly.
Yeah.
So like they are petty as fuck. Absolutely.
Also, the same people that invaded Monday Night Raw
Yes.
when it was at the stadium in LA.
Oh,
Yes.
that's right.
With the
Exactly.
crowds.
Exactly.
So I mean,
Wait, who
bringing
did?
all the
Bucks.
Bucks.
The Bucks.
Did they?
Yeah.
How long ago was
The
this?
Bucks and Cody invaded Monday Night Raw,
They remember they were outside and they had all the
Oh,
AEW fans.
yeah.
Yeah.
and but I mean, taking it all the way back around to the scope. Too.
Exactly. Yeah. No, to answer your question, do I think AEW, WWE?
No, do
Are
you
we
think
talking
AE
Survive? Wait,
Are we I'm talking AEW, WCW. WCW held down for.
I don't think that they can match the.
We're also not talking about 10 million viewers.
Yeah, true.
So that is also
it's a very different comparison.
If the
It's hard.
numbers were at 10 million,
No,
no,
I don't think. Even if it was at 10 million, I think WWE would have 8.
I think 9.
Okay, I was a little generous then.
Yeah, you were being too generous.
Yeah.
I think it's just correspond. Like if they're gonna pull 3.2 and they're doing like 600,000, like I think it'd be comparable.
Yeah, but when you said about you were saying about being held up and being able to compete. Are you saying for the fact of WWE putting them out of business?
Yeah, do they? Because WWE was in direct competition with WCW.
Yeah.
And WCW started whipping their ass for a while. For a while.
Yeah.
I mean, not forever, obviously.
Yeah,
but
obviously, yeah.
Does AEW even do that? Like, do they put a beating on WWE? Like, do they have them against the ropes at all?
All right, so I think no, I don't think they can run 83 weeks or maybe even 41 and a half weeks.
I don't think 10.
Yeah, I would give them at least a little over double digits, maybe 15 weeks, whatever. But I think everyone can get a fluke. Look at NXT against AEW; they got flukes here and there, and AEW was the better entertainment product, and NXT was better wrestling product at the time, without a doubt.
Yeah, but if you have Hunter's NXT versus current AEW, the roster then fucking flip flops and it goes
back to
NXT. But
I don't think
NXT, even with the same talent, was a better product than.
Yeah, they were better wrestling talent by far. Their storytelling was iffy. That's why I say AEW had more.
Their in-ring was
take the wrestling completely out of it. The presentation of WWE would put AEW out of business.
It's just more visually
packages.
Yeah.
The better camera angles, the better setup, the spectacle. It's
the spectacle that would draw more eyes.
It would honestly,
and you have a WrestleMania and you have a Royal Rumble, you have an actual big 2 to 4, depending on who you are, that you actually focus on. I mean, nobody knows All In, All Out, Metal Gear Solid, and
Revolution.
Evolution.
Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah, what's that?
Full Gear?
Full Gear Solid.
You were close.
I had gear.
Close. Yeah, you were close.
No, are we talking like?
Come on, get in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I'm trying to jump in with it.
Yeah, you gotta just jump in. You gotta be rude.
You
gotta
can't
do
use
it.
your inside voice for this.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
We have the alcohol here. If we need a couple shots,
I was
gonna
say,
you up.
I
We
got
can do
a
it.
pass from the senior center just to come out tonight.
I know we left a good spot open.
Yeah,
you had to bring your
Exactly.
fucking
I'm
walker
breaking
out.
curfew. Yeah,
We're breaking bedtime.
just going back to the alternative thing. What's the goal here? Is AEW's goal to be as big as WWE or just be an alternative? Because it's like a whole different television show. Like I enjoy a lot more aspects of AEW personally, but I'm a little more old school in my wrestling, whereas WWE is more like, it's really well produced television show, but I think it appeals to different audiences.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
I think the shine is off a little bit now because ticket sales aren't quite what they used to be, other than of course All In.
That's a different story, but yeah.
But so ultimately I think they're serving their purpose. They're getting the numbers, they're providing to an audience that may not still appreciate the WWE product. So I think they're doing what they set out to accomplish overall.
I agree. I think the alternative is more of the thing, because I don't think AEW is equipped to be a direct competitor. As much as the Bucks and Khan want to portray and say that all in, WrestleMania isn't the only spectacle anymore. Bullshit. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I
right.
watched it twice now. I watched All In twice.
Oh,
First time I was a little distracted here and there, so I didn't get what I would get out of watching WrestleMania. So I watched it a second time, and it was after the spectacle.
You wouldn't do that with WrestleMania.
Oh, yes, I would. Absolutely. I've watched WrestleMania.
No, I mean, you wouldn't give it your.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't be like, if you're watching WrestleMania the first time live, you're not diverting.
I'm also not paying $60 for Mania anymore either.
Yeah.
I didn't pay $60 for AEW because I wasn't paying $60 for AEW.
Especially not 2 weeks in a row.
Correct. But yeah, that's the other reason. I was streaming it on my laptop, and it was in the afternoon. My daughter's still awake. I got other things to do in the middle of the afternoon.
But if WrestleMania was on, you would have sat her down and you would have both watched WrestleMania.
Yeah, but it's at night. It's easier.
No, but I'm saying if it was during the day, like say they did WrestleMania in Wembley.
I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, of course I want to say yes, but I can't guarantee.
Well, wait. A point to that is that
you would make time for it.
WWE is actually acknowledging, in my mind, the fact that they sold out Wembley, because why all of a sudden did John Cena come out of nowhere and go, we want to get WrestleMania to London, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Right after they announced their ticket sales.
Yes. Yeah.
And they're at least acknowledging subtly.
Here's the thing, though. It doesn't matter. If WWE goes to Wembley, they're selling it out too.
Oh,
It
yeah.
really,
I know.
But AEW did it first, so there's no bragging rights there. So WWE would have to find like running like the legit Coliseum in like fucking Rome and be able to put like 145.
First of all, WWE wouldn't even need to leave the states. Wouldn't even have to leave our state. All they'd have to do is go to Beaver Stadium.
Yeah. Happy Valley, 105,000.
Yeah, or the
Each
big
one,
house
actually
in
more than
Michigan.
that,
Yeah, the big house in Michigan is another one. Notre Dame Stadium is another one. There are plenty of stadiums
college
around
fucking Penn State.
It's
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's 105 to 110,000 in Penn State, not including all the extra seats on the field
So
itself.
you're probably looking at $135,
yeah,
maybe $140, 140,000 wrestling fans.
yeah.
Like,
That would be
the smell.
insane.
Oh, the smell.
Oh my God.
he beat you to it. That's usually your joke.
It would be atrocious, but it's outside.
It's
It is
outside. It all
outside.
goes up.
Cue
Yeah,
the Stone
well.
Cold with the bar soap.
Oh, and if it rains,
No, I agree, but I'm glad you said spectacle, because that was the one thing with WrestleMania and them saying that spectacle thing, that WrestleMania is a spectacle. And I was watching.
Wow, that was a while ago. You finally got back to that.
No, we were just talking about AEW and
No,
then
but the
Wembley.
spectacle thing.
Yeah. I didn't want to forget that though, because
That's good on you.
I watched the Endeavor announcement. I watched the Stock Exchange Open and all the people there, and they showed clips of UFC and WWE back and forth, and they were showing obviously a lot of Mania, which is a good representation. And I'm watching it, and I'm seeing these WrestleMania moments, and I'm seeing the entrances with the fireworks, and like back to the point of Wembley and All In. After watching that twice, when I said this to you, I think about All In the day before, I was like, it doesn't feel like WrestleMania feels. You wake up the day of WrestleMania, and maybe this is just WWE fans, or maybe it is all wrestling fans. There's a feel that WrestleMania has. It feels almost like Christmas morning.
It feels like the Super Bowl.
Yes, exactly.
It feels exactly like the Super Bowl.
For
You're
American fans, it feels like the Super Bowl.
Well, no, it is the Super Bowl of fucking wrestling.
In that relation, then you would put All In as the college football championship.
ooh, I
I like that. I agree. I'll agree with that.
It'll draw.
I didn't watch that either.
It'll draw a lot of numbers,
That's
but
great.
it's nowhere near the spectacle of the
I
Super
like that.
Bowl.
Right.
Yeah, I like that a lot, because it was big. And
You're watching two teams you really don't care about, but you're watching it for the fun of it. That's
Yeah.
exactly what that says.
yeah, that's actually, I mean, and it just
Here's
for
the-
people at this table.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
probably a lot of AEW
You're
fans
watching
who
something
couldn't
that-
disagree more.
Yeah, but
We
here's
just
the thing,
lost
though,
half our audience right off the bat.
No, we're down to 4 at this point. At this
Yeah,
point.
Two of them in the room, so we're only down to
That's
really
true.
into two.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
if
think
that's,
he watches anymore.
if that's split in half, we're at 1 then.
We got the one guy
Shit.
halfway around the world, don't we?
Yeah, Eggy. So he's the one left. Eggy's the only guy that's watching. That's it.
But that is really hitting the nail on the head there. It's two completely different feelings.
Same sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But
somewhat the same product on the field,
yeah,
but you're having different feel. It's a different style.
Advertisements different. For
Yeah.
it.
yeah.
Wow, Bill, that was
Pacing.
dead on. That was pretty good.
Pacing.
Presentation.
Yeah.
Look at and
One
gonna-
you get marching bands, the other one you get no marching bands. I
Another
mean,
one you get rappers.
one thing that you
Halftime
can
shows.
look at, and it's the
Yeah,
smallest
you do
thing, but it's one thing that ticked in my head with All In was the difference between something big happening at All In and seeing the fireworks above the stadium versus what the fireworks look like at a WrestleMania.
and the thing that's big
World's
that
different.
happened feels bigger.
Yeah.
At WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's
Everything just
completely
feels
different.
like it's
up a notch or 10.
I mean, yeah, good that college football national championship to Super Bowl.
Yeah.
However
So-
many notches are in between that is
the
what
only
it is.
thing we would have to do is go to one of the big ones live because we saw we a lot of us or all of us have seen a big WWE show live. Like I haven't gotten out to a big AEW show, like something that's like fucking
Leah
Yeah,
Chorus was
I've
there.
been to the,
Yeah.
the Grand Slams.
Okay,
Those are-
so you were at
they're
the
amazing.
Okay.
I mean, mainly because of the stadium setup.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tennis stadium but there's no bad seats. It's a giant stadium, but everything.
Oh, that's right. You went to New York.
Yeah, I'll be going again next week.
So you're going for
yeah,
the
for
grand?
the third
Oh,
time.
okay.
And it's
Yeah. Are you retired?
no.
Yes, you are.
No.
You're at that point in life where I'm just going to do some traveling. You just happen to be a wrestling fan,
So
and everywhere you
I
travel is
just-
for
So we're
wrestling.
gonna get in that green shirt with the
I
smiling
was
face
just
on
gonna
it.
say,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I'm that guy.
You're in the front row enough at all the indie events. You really should get a gimmick going.
And that's kind of
Yeah,
where I'm
what the fuck, man?
I'm
Let us help
circling back around because when we're talking about these big spectacles, like if you look, like a buddy of mine went to all in, and he showed me pictures of his seat, and I would have had a horrible time because you're so far away and removed from the action.
Mm-hmm.
But now you kind of bring it back to what is it about wrestling that entertains you? And I find that nowadays I have more enjoyment at the smaller shows than the bigger shows for that exact reason. Is the bigger shows, it's almost like you're just watching on TV. There's commercials and whatnot. But you go to these smaller shows and you are right there in the action. You hear the chops, you hear the hits, you interact with the wrestlers. And I find I get more enjoyment out of that now.
I agree.
You're not alone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Especially I think when we first started going to House of Hardcore.
Yes.
And going to House of Hardcore,
We
and
all have ties to that.
Yeah.
yes, yeah, exactly. Like that crowd in
Yes.
that. I mean, and look, not a lot of places
It was
that
the
do
Matt
indie
It was the
wrestling.
Matt Hardy night. The first
Yeah.
night we met
Oh,
Matt
yeah.
Hardy.
That
Yeah.
there's not many places in the entire United States that do indie wrestling in that place so well as the 2300 Arena. It's hard because of the history that's draped in there, and then of course, House of Hardcore. You're having ECW guys around all the time,
Yep.
so that might be a little bit of a cheat code. But I remember going to that for the first time, going, I want to go to every show they have here because it was just. You were what 10 rows back, 12 rows back max.
Yeah.
I mean, the wrestlers walk right by you. They're out in the lobby. Like you go to WWE, and as we've all said,
You
we
go to
love
get a
WWE.
beer and you're still able to see what's going
Yeah,
on. in the
literally,
ring.
you're in the dealer and you're going like this, watching the match still. Like you don't have to look for the screens or listen. Like everything's there, and no matter where it is in indie shows, how in Westville's really, really
Oh,
good,
yeah.
super crazy.
Yeah.
That's really good. The Monster Factory, if you're not going in fucking August and sweating your ass off, is really good. I mean, there's a lot all over the place. The H2O, where H2O wrestles.
Also, don't go there when it's fucking hot.
No,
but
no.
Go to somewhere that has air conditioning.
The showboat for the
See,
GCW
we've
shows.
never gone to the showboat for wrestling.
Oh, you
no.
gotta go.
Because
No,
again, we
the
got
Voltage Lounge was fucking
Voltage
cool.
Lounge down on off of Third Street was
God.
phenomenal. It was
It was
so
literally
great.
just a bar and a fucking wrestling ring and a fucking.
A
It was
bar,
the
balcony
a
area.
bar.
Balcony,
Speaking of
yeah.
a bar, that's where I got to get you guys to go next. Is
Oh,
Tony
say less.
Deppin's bar.
Yes.
Pilgrim
Oh,
Rub
shit.
Brewing,
That's
Pottsville,
far.
PA.
It is far.
It's
I know.
in like Pottsville,
Yeah,
right?
it's like 2 hours, but it's so fun.
It's like 2
and
hours.
I should say it's not wrestling.
He wakes up at
It's
4 a.m.
fighting,
so we get
it's
there in time.
People fighting for entertainment. It's fightertainment. They can't legally call it wrestling. So
Really?
yes. So it's technically not wrestling. It's wrestlers who fight for entertainment. And yes, there's a mat and there's
There's ropes and all
but
that.
It is
Is there someone
absolutely-
refereeing this?
Yes, but it's
Okay.
absolutely not wrestling. But it is the best freaking
And that
time.
me and Scott did have a conversation over the phone, and I did say about when we had Tony on for our 200th episode, he did tell us about this,
Yeah.
and say we should come out. We are at this point
Pieces
four.
of shit.
We're 4. No, wait. To give you a time frame, when we had Tony Deppin on last, we are 4 to 5 episodes away from 300.
Yeah.
So we're almost 100 episodes in between.
That's
that.
only like
So yeah, we did.
Was
I
that, like,
agree.
2 years ago?
I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
I don't think it was that long, but it
was about
not
a year
far.
and a half.
Not
You got
far.
52 weeks in a year. How many?
Yeah.
100? Yeah, so we're almost at 2
Not
years.
far.
But
So-
that's the kind of thing. Like there's these
4 weeks
little
shy.
companies now that are doing these alternative or different ideas that appeal to wrestling fans, but like in a different way. Like Deppin with his fights in the bar, and then Fight Pro, obviously,
Yes.
that we all love.
Yeah.
And like their approach being more old school Ring of Honor, adhere to the rules. It's no screw job endings, and that appeals to a certain subsection in the audience. So now there's so many options.
I just gotta say, we're in a golden era
Oh
of
my God.
wrestling right now.
Hell
That-
yeah,
that
absolutely.
just like to be able to sit here and after the years from 2008 or 2001 even to 2015 to now to have WWE, SmackDown, and Raw have an actual brand split and have actual stars on each show. Granted, some are more than others. Have NXT on its way up, to have AEW, to have indie shows that offer any kind of wrestling you could ever imagine, or
Literally any.
That you can have literally anything that you
We're
want.
spoiled. Absolutely spoiled.
And
as
then we're not
fans.
even talking about overseas.
Yeah.
You've got all the
Yeah, they
British
wrestle over there
wrestling,
too.
New Japan. It's true.
Tony Deppin's got a bar in London? What?
Not yet. Yeah, it's
That's
you're
probably hard
right.
competition out there.
Now you really got to pick and choose what you like and where you find it. I mean, and more streaming services are popping up for independent wrestling. It's ridiculous.
So
we got Fight TV. That's a crazy
that
one.
is
Fight is absolutely, I think, head and shoulders above everyone. Even though, look, IWTV is a powerhouse in itself, but it's a
They're
different
different.
style,
Yeah,
exactly,
they're both different.
with wrestling on it. Than
and the
Fight.
functionality of the app. I mean, Fight
is
Plus
really
is
good.
So good, you know. But you're right.
BR Live is
IWTV
not.
was like the first.
BR Live is awful.
my
so
God.
bad, dude. It is terrible. Like, you can't operate that on any device. It's just terrible.
Can we talk about like why AEW is so far behind when it comes to streaming and this BR crap?
Not only BR Live, I think even the Honor Club.
Oh,
I think that is a big mistake as well.
Don't even get me started.
I
on
think
that.
with all the money that Tony Khan has,
yeah,
you can't tell me he doesn't have enough connections
Yeah.
to where you can.
His dad works for the fucking NFL. I'm sure somebody knows something.
That's
over
what I'm
there.
saying. That's
Like,
what I'm saying.
What the fuck? He
I
owns
mean,
an NFL team.
They had the rumor of HBO Max and Warner and all that
Yeah.
coming together. So I really thought HBO Max was going to be the home of AEW and in turn ROH, which would be amazing. But then I heard that no, ROH is staying its own entity and going to stay on Honor Club.
Keep in mind that
That hasn't been good from like the get go.
he has
since
a lot of
the
ties.
Tony Khan era Ring of Honor. You mean?
I mean, Honor Club was always kind of I didn't iffy. Like I didn't like Honor Club
Oh, okay. As a service.
as a service.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The Shad Khan has massive connections with app developing in the Premier League in the UK, where every team has a dedicated TV app.
Yeah,
for
but
themselves.
but they're on Fight for the UK.
Yes.
That's what AEW is on.
True.
No, I know, but I'm saying like
He has the
You have-
capabilities.
Why not just go to Fight for us too?
yeah.
It'd be so much easier. They just eliminate the fucking stupidity. Just go to Fight. Although I don't think their server can hold it. I don't think.
Really?
I don't. No, I don't. Yo, you got to look at what they're running now. They're running like second string fucking actual fighting, like MMA and boxing and shit, like BC.
There's only so many potatoes they can hook up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, I don't think they'd be able to. I don't think.
I just got
What
this.
was it?
Okay.
I wasn't expecting that.
I'm old and I didn't get
so
that
many
reference.
potatoes. I'm like, wait, what?
Potato server.
No, I got you. I just did not expect it. It's the last thing I was expecting. And in my head, I see the picture
I don't
of
know.
what you're
Every
talking
IT
about.
guy listening to this just laughs. So
I'm about to go Steiner math on it. We have 4 followers. The percentage that one of them is going to be an IT guy, that's fucking.
That's very well. I agree. Yep. I agree.
Samoa Joe knows he can't beat me.
Did you guys? I know it's a slight change of things, but did you guys hear about the Kevin Nash Samoa Joe shit that came out?
What?
I heard him talking on his podcast
that-
about Samoa Joe.
He talked
yes.
about how he went back and he went up
He's
to Samoa
open
Joe's
hand
face,
slapped him.
open hand slapped Samoa Joe, and Joe just stood there doing nothing. So he fucking slapped him again,
And Joe walked away.
and then Joe walked away.
So the story, because I
When the
listened
fuck was this?
TNA.
TNA.
So
my God.
because I listened to,
I kind of believe that happened.
I listened to Nash's podcast on a weekly
But why
basis.
bring it up?
Because they were talking about CM Punk and getting in the fight with Jack Perry. And the reason all this came up and the slap happened was because Punk threw a punch, which Kevin Nash says you never punch one of the boys. If you're going to do something, open hand, at most, even that is kind of up there. But
that's worse. You just get bitch slapped.
Apparently, not in the wrestling
I
business.
bitch slapped him, and then he stood there, and then
Well,
I bitch slapped him again.
He did have
his logic to it. There was his logic, and his logic was you don't fuck up someone's face and fuck up their money because. And there was a previous story of someone throwing a chair at Scott Hall, hitting him in the mouth, and then he had to go to the dentist, and he had to almost miss a week of Nitro. So you're taking money out of his pocket. Yeah. So that's where that comes from. You don't punch him, what he said, in the T, obviously right in the middle of the face. But that's where the open hand slap came in with Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe went into business for himself, cut a promo on Scott when he wasn't even there. And Kevin Nash came up to him and said, "What the fuck was that?" And Samoa Joe smirked. So Kevin Nash hauls off and slaps Samoa Joe. He stands there, does nothing. He slaps him again, and Samoa Joe walks away. And apparently, the next week on TV, Samoa Joe goes in front of all the boys and apologizes to Kevin Nash.
Oh. And he had ended up cutting a promo on the next taping, saying that he standing there with a bat saying he's going to kill Kevin Nash. And then Kevin Nash is on the mic and turns around and goes, "You can, but you won't." And it started a feud.
There you go.
Yeah.
So he gained his respect by slapping him and then him bitching out and apologizing. So now you get to do business with Kevin Nash.
Yeah. It's the whole respect your elders thing, but then
the veteran
in a very weird fucking way.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready to never
respect
talk about
our elders? Or
yeah.
Are
you guys?
I thought he said, "Are you guys ready to have one of my slaps? To taste the fury of an old man's hand?"
I thought he was just hoping we would respect our elders for once.
All right, listen to your elder. Are you guys ready to never talk about CM Punk ever again? Because quite frankly, I am so done and so happy that it's done. Like I always
is it done or is it a work?
It's not.
It's done.
It's not a work. I know you said that to me before.
No,
this is not a work.
Yeah.
This is
Tony Khan's just bad at a promo because that was so fucking awkward.
Tony-
he made it sound like it was a work.
Tony Khan, and I heard Eric Bischoff said this, and I completely agree. Tony Khan needs to have someone talk for him on the broadcast and make those announcements. He has no business being in front of the camera.
He's a fucking dork.
He just
He has coke eyes. He has
really
eyes like he's hopped up on some massive line.
He's rich.
His
He
eyes
probably
are
is.
bugging.
I mean, look, he has the access. Good for him. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's what you do. That's what you do. But the CM
Stay
Punk,
off fucking TV.
there is a question that I want to ask you guys because I think I've heard a lot of people asking it. Is it CM Punk is in AEW, thinks it's going to be better than WWE, is now working with the Bucks and working with a lot of young talent, and he looks at it and goes, "Man, this is not how professional wrestling is supposed to be run. They're unprofessional. They don't know what they're doing. WWE was so much more of a machine and ran maybe more professionally than what AEW is, and he's just a man amongst boys." And that's really what it is with Jungle Boy having to use real glass and Cry Me a River and all this stuff with the Bucks being very childish with everything they do. Or, hold on, I'll let you answer, hold on. Or is it a mental health issue? Is it CM Punk? Is there something messed up with him to where he just can't get along with people and he is the problem?
It's the second one, because why hasn't Jericho had a problem? Why hasn't Moxley had a problem? Why hasn't Danielson had a problem? They're thriving and doing exactly like they're working with the young talent. They're putting over the young talent. It's Punk.
It's easy for them. Like, it's easy. Jericho's always done that.
Yeah.
Jericho's done that for a long time. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I think it's totally Punk. I think once he did that at the press conference, came back and started doing stuff again, I think you have to point 100% at Punk.
They gave him a show.
Yeah,
they did, dude. They literally,
They literally
they should have just
made
called
a
it
show for
Punk Collision.
Yeah.
Punk Collision.
Yeah,
They were sending
Funkadelics.
people home that didn't agree with
That's
it.
what I thought.
Like,
Punk Collision, that's what I thought immediately.
but that's the thing. It's like they made him a show. Like, how much more?
They gave
could
him a roster and said, look, you don't have to work with the Bucks. You don't have to work with Hangman. You don't have to work with Kenny. We'll give you FTR. We'll give you Ricky Starks. Here's this roster. You go with this roster and we'll keep them away. They'll never come on your show.
yeah.
And there, you can be happy now.
Yeah.
And I love the clip of him on commentary and him saying, if you have a problem with Jack Perry, it's not Jack Perry, you're the problem. And then he has a problem with Jack Perry.
That's right.
And I'm like, dude, you literally said it on commentary that if anyone has a problem with Jungle Boy, then it's your problem, not Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
And then you have it. Like, that's the thing that gets me. Like, I kind of see the unprofessionalism thing with AEW, but it's not an excuse to do what Punk has been doing. Now, you can say those things to the boys. You can pull someone aside with Hangman, when Hangman said that he doesn't take advice and didn't want to listen to Jerry Lynn and all the guys that were giving him advice. That's fine. Walk up to Hangman and tell him, like, look, dude, maybe you need to say that differently.
Punk's
You can't
never
say that on
operated
TV.
like that, though. Punk's never,
You're right.
He's never operated like that. He, like, even in WWE, he was still the standout or like the
lone wolf.
Yeah, like basically the guy that like did his own thing, lived by his own thing of rules, and where did he end up?
I wonder if he was like the whole idea of wrestlers' court.
Yeah.
And it's always existed. There's always the leaders in the locker room that hold it and hold people accountable. And they don't have that maybe in AEW. Maybe Punk was trying to fulfill that locker room leader role.
I mean,
and kind of dictate this is how it's supposed to be. And
yeah, but you got guys.
You got Christian.
You got. That's a good one. I wasn't going to say that one.
Yeah.
Christian. You got Dustin
Big
Rhodes.
Show.
You got Big Show. You got Mark Henry.
Yeah, but I think if you're gonna go with actual talent, who's probably in the locker room, I think Christian's the one, and Jericho. I think Jericho and Christian are the two Canadians.
Sting.
Sting's in there, but I think Sting's hanging back. I mean, Sting's on the back nine.
Yeah. He's on the back two.
I was going to say the back 2 or 3 minimum.
Well, I'm going to give Sting the benefit of his doubt. But yeah, I think the guys that are in there. I mean, Moxley can probably be a locker room type leader. I mean,
I think for that locker room, he is 100%.
I agree, but
Danielson,
I'm saying,
like I think those guys are the locker room. Like I think there are locker room leaders. I just think Punk just wanted to be the guy. Like he's CM Punk,
and that was the thing that I was trying.
Like
to
it's
say.
not like he wants to be a locker room leader. He wants to be the leader of the company.
And that's what I'm saying.
He wants everything to revolve around him.
Maybe he had his issues with Wrestlers Court in WWE. He had experiences in Wrestlers Court where he had to defend himself.
There was no court here, so he just wanted to be.
He wanted to make himself the court.
Yeah, he wanted to be judged.
He just wanted to be the executioner.
Well,
there was a great
not the excellence
clip.
of one, but
there was a great old WWE clip of Hunter and Punk in the ring.
Oh yeah, where he's sitting in the chair.
Yeah,
and he cuts the promo.
Hunter,
Yes,
Hunter
was
buries him.
saying
Yeah.
stuff, and it was
like
so perfect.
It's like accurate as hell.
Yeah. Where he says that you say you hate this company, and me and you are a lot alike. The only difference is I told people I was going to step all over them, and you don't have the balls to.
Yeah, he said he wanted to be a catalyst,
and he said,
a catalyst for change.
Yes, but the only reason the catalyst for change that he wanted was that it benefited Punk.
Right.
That's the change he wanted, which is true. Everything he said was true. And then when Punk leaves, what do? They find a different catalyst for change, and his name's Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
And then they do the yes movement. And and that's where a lot of people, I think that's why a lot of people hopped on the Punk train, was because, that's because CM Punk. All this entire run is because it's CM Punk. I think it was in spite of CM Punk. They wanted to show him, look, we're going to put this guy in the main event. We're not just going to put him in the main event. He's going to have 2 matches. He's going to wrestle Hunter, and then he's going to be in the main event against Orton and Batista, and he's going to win both titles.
Yep.
Like,
and then it fell back into Vince's fears of having a small man
then he gets
hold
injured,
the title
and
and
he
get
gets
hurt.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But it was all about the moment.
But so
it's a good moment.
One more topic about CM Punk, because this is the only other topic that is about CM Punk. Him returning to wrestling. I'm not going to say WWE because Impact apparently showed some interest, and he
ain't going to
WWE.
Impact.
I don't know.
He ain't going to Impact.
It doesn't have enough appeal. Like there's not enough
has
of
the
an
freedom.
audience.
No. Yeah, but the eyes aren't on him. There's not enough eyes that are going to be on him. And I don't think deep down, he thinks or he knows he doesn't have the draw power.
I think he has draw power. I think he has
first draw power, but I think his draw power loses pizzazz, so to speak.
I think it's the same thing that with Kenny appearing on Impact. Kenny appeared on Impact, they popped the biggest numbers they had, and then it trailed off.
So here's the thing.
I blame first of all, sorry to interrupt you. I blame Tony Khan and AEW booking for the falling off of CM Punk, because I kind of agree with the big pop when he debuted, but if you look at the run all the way through MJF, that their ratings were really, really good. And yes, you're talking about the best heel, if not one of the best guys behind Roman Reigns in the entire wrestling business in MJF for him to go up against. So I'll take it with a grain of salt. But his booking after that, before Brawl Out happened, was iffy at best. And then he comes back, big pop for the return. And then still, he's having trios matches with FTR, which, don't get me wrong, FTR, probably the greatest tag team out there, period.
They fizzled them out.
But again, yes, they dropped the ball with FTR for a long time, and then finally have given them back the titles, which the titles aren't really mean anything for AEW right now. No. So I blame most of that.
They were
the
over,
ratings.
Though. The whole theme song, they were over.
They still get big pops when their music hits, but I think the ratings are a booking problem. I'm not going to pin it all on CM Punk, because I do believe he can draw. And Impact, probably not. But WWE...
Was he the biggest draw for that company?
For
AEW?
Jericho. Jericho. Are we talking all time for AEW, or are we talking...
No, I'm talking about like
recently.
I don't think...
the past 2 years since he was signed?
Yeah, I don't think Jericho's numbers ever hit Punk's numbers. Is he like the biggest?
Probably. But that's only because he was gone for so long.
Yeah.
And everyone chanted CM Punk for
absence.
And then he came back, and I feel like, okay, he came back, and then everyone was like, well, that was fun. And it wasn't like...
I tell you what, he ruined his career when he wore pants to the ring.
There you go. There you go. And well, let's face it. I mean, the quality of his matches, at least in my opinion,
I agree.
sucked.
I agree. That's what I
he wasn't best in the world anymore.
No,
still great on the mic.
Right.
Still cut a promo almost.
Yeah, but he almost turned into like, okay, so maybe he shouldn't be a wrestler. Maybe he should be a manager. Would he have went further?
See, I thought he
did
okay, but I thought he did okay for
imagine
an older.
Yeah, but imagine if he
like,
wanted to actually help the business, and he knew that. I mean, some people are selfish and some people don't want to take the hint. Like, he's not that old, but he's slowed down a lot because you do that, and the people, the younger talent has gotten that much fucking faster.
Yeah.
Like if he was back in 2013 and they were now.
Yeah.
It would have been a different story. Like he would have
agree.
But if it was best for business and he actually wanted to help the business and he knew he was slowing down, he could still make just as much because he'd be bringing in just as many eyes if he took someone under his wing, like actually under his wing, and he like say he took a Darby Allin and instead of Sting, you had Punk with Darby Allin. I think that's a lot more beneficial because now you have someone that actually can talk. Because Sting's not talking for Darby.
True.
And Darby's not great on the mic anyway.
No, Darby sucks on the mic.
Yeah.
So, or if you have some, or maybe he fucking teamed up with Jungle Boy and he took Jungle Boy under his wing, and like he's good at doing this one thing, and that's getting you to feel something. That's not with his wrestling. Sometimes. That's with his mouth. He gets you to hate him with the shit that he does outside of the ring, taking the fucking urn.
That still bothers
Dude,
you.
that was so good though. When you think about it,
was.
Like,
I'm not
that whole storyline that should have made evented. He had a reason to be mad at that point.
Match of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should have. He had
I
a
left
reason.
afterwards. I had my kids with me. They were like, "Can we go? We don't want to see John Cena beat The Rock." I was like, "Let's go."
If you think about it,
So it was your main event. That was your main event.
My main event.
There you
Had
go.
Punk do that, maybe he wouldn't have been such a brat. He would have stayed in.
Maybe Punk.
This old man believes in me so much that I am going to stay in wrestling.
Hey, that was 10 years ago. I wasn't that old 10 years ago.
I mean,
was
maybe
the hair still there, or was it?
No, the hair's been gone for a long. Maybe Punk was just realized he can't go anymore and was looking for a way out, and maybe this was his way out, was just maybe if I cause enough shit.
All right,
So I'm going to completely destroy it. I didn't have a legacy anyway, so I'm destroying everything that I could possibly have left.
So
for this.
Yeah,
you mentioned Sean Ross Sapp. Sean Ross Sapp put out the thing of remember when he visited WWE? He was in Monday Night Raw to visit Kofi, and it was when it was in Chicago.
Yeah.
So that was the point where I think after Brawl Out, right? That was in between. That was when he got injured, I think.
Yeah.
And he was kind of off for a little bit, and everyone was thinking, was he coming back or not?
Yeah.
And he visited Raw. So apparently, again, rumor, not fact, just saying what's out
I
there.
wish we still had that drop.
I know you do. He wanted to come back for the Rumble. And then work a program to Mania with Owens. And at that point, that was not why he was there, but a lot of talk around it.
Has he never had an angle with Owens?
No, he hasn't.
No.
They were two different.
Owens
so he
came later.
So he might have
But that's what I'm saying.
But here's the thing, though. If Punk developed like this bucket list, and he wanted to do like without.
Oh God, I'm having Cody flashbacks.
No, that's what I was just about, I was just about to say. But without the whole Cody putting it online, like what if Punk and he's not going to tell anyone about this. What if he secretly has a bucket list? Like he saw one person, he saw two people in AEW because he worked Darby with Sting. I think he wanted to work Sting.
And then he worked MJF. He wanted to see how good the kid was.
He wanted to work MJF because he knew it would be money.
Right.
And then he kind of was like, I have no other those were my buckets. I don't care about anything else.
He doesn't care about Ambrose or Moxley. He doesn't care about Danielson.
No,
he worked with those guys.
And that's why he's that's why he's self-destructing.
I don't know if Jericho and him were in WWE at the same time.
Oh yeah, sure.
They
they had that great angle about.
Oh, that's right, about the alcoholism and all. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
all right, so he worked Jericho.
So I think the seeds have been planted elsewhere too. Like I think his bucket list is on Seth. Because Seth already has the hatred for him. He's already come out and said it publicly. Like I think
Seth called him a cancer.
Yeah. So I think that's already built in. Like I think if he has a bucket list, it's a small one. I'm not saying he wants to do it to get back into wrestling, but I think he wants to end his career being like, I ended it
my way.
Like I didn't end it my way.
For better or for worse.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But you know what? It could end up like if he just completely cancered himself, but he's already in the works.
I can hear the moans coming from over here.
Yeah, but if he's already in the works with WWE and he shows up at a Royal Rumble, the pop now blows out the fucking AEW pop.
So for the well, guys, I think that'll
It was a success.
Wrap the show up.
I think that's
almost. So thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll be talking to you very soon.